Now recently, Derek Carr got in his car, drove to the airport, flew from Las Vegas to New Orleans, and now he's the QB for the Saints. So I want to see what happens if every quarterback was forced to do the same and switch conferences. Real quick disclaimer before we keep going. I filmed this entire video before Jimmy Garoppolo signed with the Raiders, so just keep that in mind. Off season's already crazy and it's screwing with the videos, man. Now, how this is going to work is we have 15 other quarterbacks from the AFC teams, and we're going to spin this wheel of NFC quarterbacks and teams to see where they're going to go. We already know about Carr, he's in New Orleans, and now Andy Dalton and famous Jameis are in Las Vegas. Time to see where the other quarterbacks are going to go, man. Starting off with Patrick Mahomes, probably the biggest spin. On the very first spin, he's headed to Dallas, and Dak Prescott is going to Kansas City. Both of those teams are going to be really good. The Chiefs obviously still have Reed, Kelsey, and then now the Cowboys have Mahomes. Next up, Russell Wilson is going to be headed to Chicago. He's going to be paired up with DJ Moore, and now Justin Fields is headed to the Broncos. Last quarterback from the AFC West, Justin Herbert, another very important spin. An elite quarterback, man. Where he goes could change a lot of things, but he's going to stay in Los Angeles. Probably the shortest distance any quarterback is traveling in this video. And now Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield are headed to Los Angeles, and they're playing on the Chargers. So now we have one division down. You guys are seeing how it's working, man. AFC South is up next. We're spinning for Davis Mills from the Texans. He's going to Minnesota to play with Jay Jettas. And now Kirk Cousins, who has newly acquired Robert Woods to throw to, is going to have to try to carry the Texans to the playoffs. Next spin is for the Indianapolis Colts. Matty Ice, Nick Foles are going to be headed to the NFC. They're playing in Arizona with DeAndre Hopkins. Foles and Ertz, last time they were on the same team, they won a Super Bowl. I'm just saying. And now Kyler's going to the Colts. He's playing with Pittman and company. A lot of good teams left. A lot of good quarterbacks left. We're looking at Trevor Lawrence, one of the best young QBs in the league. He's gonna go to New York. Him and Saquon's gonna be a nasty duo. Danny Dimes is headed to Jacksonville. Our 8th team in the AFC to get a brand new quarterback is gonna be the Titans. Ryan Tannehill is on a move. He's headed to San Fran, which means the Titans are gonna get Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. Derrick Henry has a brand new quarterback. On to Baltimore. We're looking at where Lamar Jackson is gonna go. This is a huge spin, people. Okay, he's going to Atlanta. There was rumors that he could end up on the Falcons. So now we get to see what happens if he actually goes there and follows in the footsteps of one of the best rushing quarterbacks of all time, Michael Vick. Meanwhile, Desmond Ritter's headed to Baltimore. Up next, we have Joe and the Cincinnati Bengals. Another team is going to get an elite quarterback. It's the Panthers. Now we're really going to see what Burrow's made of, man. They just lost DJ Moore, but obviously this is before the draft, so the Panthers haven't had a chance to retool. Burrow's going to have to bring out the backpack. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold is going to the Bengals. A very stacked roster. I'm curious to see what kind of stats he can put up. Only 12 teams remaining, 6 spins. We are staying in the AFC North, looking at Deshaun Watson and the Browns. He's going to Philadelphia. I think this one could work out for both teams. Hurts is headed to Cleveland to play with Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, so he still has a lot of talent. Now we're looking at Kenny Pickett from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see where this young stud quarterback is going. He's headed to Washington. Scary Terry McLaurin, that's the #1 wide receiver a lot of quarterbacks would love. Meanwhile, Heineke is going to play with Pickens, Najee, Deontay, and company. One division left in the AFC. We're looking at the AFC East, man. Josh Allen from Buffalo, the best quarterback remaining. He's going to Tampa Bay. His stats are about to be insane with Evans and Godwin. Meanwhile, Kyle Trask is headed to Buffalo. Diggs might not be too happy with this. On to the Miami Dolphins, a team who has Jalen Ramsey now, but they're going to have a brand new quarterback in this video. Tua is headed to Green Bay. He still has a solid core to work with, but the Dolphins are looking like an absolute monster with Tyreek and Waddle getting the ball from Aaron Rodgers. We have the New England Patriots up next. Mac Jones is gonna be headed to either the Lions or the Seahawks. Jared Goff is who he's swapping places with. Mac gets to play with Amon-Ra, Jameson, and all those weapons in Detroit. Meanwhile, Goff gets to play for one of the best coaches of all time. And that means Mike White and Zach Wilson from the Jets are headed to Seattle. And Geno Smith is headed to New York. I even made a picture in Photoshop of what that would look like. I'm telling you, it looks pretty good. Now we sim to the playoffs. Great time to like the video if you haven't already. Which quarterbacks are going to thrive in their new situation and which ones are going to struggle? Leave your predictions in the comment section. No cheating. Joe Burrow and the Panthers end up with the 1 seed in the NFC. Tannehill and the Niners get the 2nd. Mahomes and the Cowboys end up 3rd. Tua takes the Packers to the 4 seed. Herbert and the Rams end up 5th. Deshaun and the Eagles get into the playoffs, as well as Trevor Lawrence and the Giants. Seahawks with Mike White and Zach Wilson barely miss out. Lamar and the Falcons go 9-8, but they can't make it. Josh Allen and the Bucks are only a few games away. And here are the rest of the teams that missed out on the playoffs. Wilson and the Bears had the worst record in the conference. Meanwhile, Taylor Heineke went 13-4 with the Steelers, 1st in the AFC. Desmond Ridder and the Ravens end up 2nd. This is crazy. The Jets with Geno back in New York end up 3rd. Justin Fields on the Broncos made the playoffs. Dak with the Chiefs, of course they made it. Danny Dimes took the Jaguars to the postseason. Danny Dimes went to the postseason with the Jags. And the Colts made it with Kyler Murray. Somehow Rodgers and the Dolphins didn't make it with Ramsey. Hurts and the Browns miss out on the playoffs. And Kirk Cousins and Houston end up last in the AFC. Let's go team by team and look at everyone. Russell Wilson with actually a pretty good season on the Bears. Let's be honest, that's better than we all expected. Darnold had a decent year. Trask with over 40 tutties, only 14 picks and 5,000 yards. Justin Fields with 42 passing touchdowns, 2 more rushing touchdowns. Jalen threw way too many picks. I don't know what happened with him on the Browns. Only had 1 rushing touchdown. Chubb had 22. Allen, of course, on the Buccaneers. Somehow they missed out on the playoffs, man. That's crazy. Matty Ice over 5,000 yards. Connor did his thing. Austin Eckler, who has requested a trade or is looking to get traded. I know, it's crazy. Imagining him in a different offense, but right now on the Chargers, he had 16 touchdowns, same number of interceptions that Matty Ice and Dak had, but Prescott and the Chiefs still made the playoffs. Tyler had double the amount of touchdowns and interceptions. Pickett didn't have the best season on the Commanders. Patrick Mahomes, he did his thing in Dallas. Zeke's still doing his thing as well, 18 touchdowns. Cowboys are going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I don't know what happened with Rodgers on the Dolphins. I really have no idea. This is as updated as possible as of March 13th. So yeah, they have Jalen Ramsey on the defense with Xavier. Probably the biggest shocker of the video that they did not make it to the postseason. Watson had himself a good year with the Eagles. 10 touchdowns on the ground. He's going to be in the MVP conversation. Lamar, I've been waiting to see what he looks like in Atlanta. Only 2 rushing touchdowns. You know, hey, their scheme is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Tannehill had himself a very good season with the Niners. I mean, when you have Debo going for 18 touchdowns, McCaffrey, Kittle, yeah, this is going to be a nasty team to go up against. Trevor Lawrence doing this in New York is unbelievable. Like, he's different. Danny Dimes with Doug Peterson had a good season. Geno, the glowed up version, had himself a phenomenal season on the Jets. Mac Jones was, he was alright. Tua with a nice season, over 4,000 yards. Joe Burr did his thing in Carolina. Jared Goff was okay, you know, not bad, not amazing. Same with Andy Dalton. But look at Herbert on the Rams. Him to Cooper Kupp. Oh my goodness. 2,427 receiving yards. 24 touchdowns. I think those both are records. Matter of fact, Dak broke a record too. The most passing yards. Lamar ends up top 5. Now we have to go through all of them just to make sure. Oh, look at Lamar in the top 10 for most passing touchdowns. Josh Jacobs and Saquads along with Chubb all in the top 10 for most rushing touchdowns. And there's Cooper Kupp obliterating the receiving yards record. Oh my goodness, Herbert with Kupp was just ridiculous. That's the nastiest duo in the league, man. They also set the receiving touchdowns record. Debo and Olamide in the top 10 for most receiving touchdowns as well. And look at Kupp, the triple crown. He set all 3 records. That dude is nasty. Von Miller, Myles Garrett set. Okay, so this was just a record-breaking season. Like, everyone decided to join in on breaking every record. That's insane. Almost done looking at the stats. Ritter on the Ravens had a decent season, 7 rushing touchdowns. He is fast, so I expected that number to be around there. Derek Carr on the Saints did not do as good as I expected. Kamara took a lot of touchdowns, though. He had some nice chemistry with MT. I was expecting Olave to have better numbers, you know. Zach Wilson actually did pretty good on the Seahawks. Taylor Heineke, 37 touchdowns, only 10 picks on the Steelers. Cousins, once again, way too many INTs. And then Jimmy Garoppolo on the Titans. I mean, you can't expect him to have that many yards and touchdowns when Derrick Henry is putting up stats like that. And finally, Davis Mills had an above average season. Herbert wins MVP. I'm surprised Cooper Kupp was not in here. I mean, that's one of the best seasons, if not the best season ever for a wide receiver. And he doesn't even get top 10 for MVP. Coach of the year goes to the Panthers, Matt Rule. Jacobs wins OPOY in the AFC. His stats were insane. DPOY goes to Vaughn. In the NFC, goes to Rashawn Gary. And OPOY, of course, goes to Cooper Kupp. Here's a look at the playoff bracket. The Steelers and the Panthers with the 1 seeds. Now they have to face the Chiefs and the Rams, respectively. The Jets and the Ravens are going to face off, as well as the Niners and Cowboys. But our final 4 is going to be Geno and the Jets versus Prescott and the Chiefs. And then we have Burrow and the Panthers against Tannehill and the Niners. Mahomes and the Cowboys get ousted in the divisional. Same with the MVP, Justin Herbert and the Rams. On the other side, the 1 seed Steelers with Heineke lost. And Desmond Ridder and the Ravens had a really good run. No one expected them to go that far. We're gonna super sim both of these games. First up is Geno and the Jets, down early against Dak Prescott and the Chiefs. This one's a close game heading into halftime, but Kansas City extends their lead to 10 at the start of 4th quarter, 24-14. Geno in the shotgun, 2nd and 2. They're in the red zone. Here comes the pressure. He finds someone over the middle. Touchdown, New York. If they can just get this stop, they have a chance to get the lead. Dak gonna go for it all. It's out of bounds, and they're gonna punt. And Geno do the unthinkable. Come back to the team he was drafted on, where everyone was writing him off as a bust, and then somehow win the Super Bowl. Nice first down pass right there. Geno going to his wide receiver Wilson, who gets them another first. They're gonna settle for the field goal, and we have a tie ball game. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Dak just needs 20 to 25 more yards to get his team in the field goal range. Of course, he's going to one of the best tight ends ever. Kelsey gets them within 3 yards of a first, but Dak's going for it all. Incomplete. Intended for Hardman. And now they're going to punt again. Geno does all 3 timeouts. He has to go a long way, but he's more than capable of doing it. He just did it on the very last drive. Garrett Wilson is a monster. One of the best young wide receivers in the league. Just won Offensive Rookie of the Year for a reason. Back-to-back receptions, getting his team around midfield. Phenomenal job by Geno, showing poise, standing in the pocket, delivering strike after strike. Good play call, good play call. Brees right up the gut, getting the first down. Now they can settle for the 3. Greg the leg ends up hitting the game winner. Geno helps the Jets make it to the Super Bowl. Just a feel-good story with him returning to New York and taking them to the big game. Dak had almost a perfect game though. Only 5 incompletions, 2 touchdowns, 293 yards. Geno did his thing, didn't turn the ball over, but Brees Hall, one of the better young running backs in the league, proving why he has that title. The Chiefs had a good season with Dak, nothing to be ashamed about. Breaking news as I'm recording this, the Niners just signed Javon Hargrave, D-tackle that just played on an Eagles team that got to the Super Bowl. He was a monster all season. That's a huge addition for San Francisco, but can they stop Joe Burrow and the Panthers? Time to find out. I think this right here proves just how good Burrow is. Like, the Panthers just lost DJ Moore. How did he take them this far? That is insane, man. The carry job he just did. Like, it's honestly insane. I know right now they're losing, but to be fair, they shouldn't have a chance. Like, it's literally just Burrow. They need a touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, and then do it again. But there's the tutty, and they're actually going to take the PAT. I didn't do the math, so maybe this is all they need. It's going to be a 12-point game. Here comes the onside kick. Can the Panthers get a miracle? No. San Fran recovers it, and the Niners are headed to the Super Bowl. Ryan Tannehill is 1 game away from being a Super Bowl champion. Burrow did not have the best game, but hey, once again, taking them this far is an accomplishment in and of itself. Panthers defense actually did a good job job against McCaffrey and that run game, but there just was not enough help on offense for Mr. Burrow. I can't even say this one burns for Panthers fans. I mean, getting this far, being part of the Final Four has to feel good. And here we go, start of the Super Bowl. This experiment not only shows which quarterbacks are capable of carrying rosters, but which rosters are capable of carrying quarterbacks. I mean, the Niners have an insane offense and defense, so they didn't need a magician at QB, just someone that is solid, and Tannehill fits that mold to perfection. Right now they have an 11-point lead. Jets are on offense to begin the fourth, 2nd and 2 in their own territory. Here comes the play action. Geno to Brees, who turns upfield and picks up the first down. Last play before the 2-minute warning. Geno gonna get rid of it and get the touchdown. They have to get this 2-point conversion, make it a 3-point game. Here comes the blitz for the Niners. Another dot by Smith. What a drive. The Jets are going to choose to kick it deep and rely on that defense. Sauce Gardner, the Williams brothers, Mosley, Lawson. So much talent on this Jets defense, but the Niners might have just enough talent to get the job done. 3rd down and 7 for this San Fran offense. It's going to be a screen. McCaffrey out the backfield getting good blocks. He can't get the first down. And Geno Smith is going to have a chance. This would be the craziest story that we possibly could have had, man. Geno coming back to the team he was drafted on. Oh, here comes Brees, not getting out of bounds. That's a great tackle. Gonna bring up a 2nd and 7. Clock continues to move. Needs some great protection. He gets it and he fires for the first down. Now it's Geno. Gonna dump it off to a tight end, and they're across midfield. Back-to-back drives. Smith is looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Another first down. He cannot afford to take a sack. Brees gonna get the catch, and now they have to spike the ball. Will they have enough time? No! The AI still has not improved enough to where they realize they need to spike the ball, and the Niners, with Tannehill at quarterback, end up winning this experiment Super Bowl, man. Thank you so much for watching. Gonna take a look at the final stats. In the last game of the season, Geno did not have a bad day at all, but McCaffrey was just too much for the Jets defense, and there you have it, man. That's what would happen if every quarterback was forced to switch conferences, man. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Stunning like I hit the jackpot. He don't wanna catch a fade. I'ma really get him blacked out. He ain't really about that life. Better breathe before you tap. Bop, steady rocking with the stripes. I'ma really get him checked. Everybody getting checks. Everybody getting bags. Will it end? Will it last? Rental cars going fast.
Please don't say you wanna be friends. In my dreams we play pretend.